Hello and welcome to a new video for AZ 104 preparation. This is episode number 11. Question number 101. Your company currently has a site-to-site connection with an Azure Virtual Private Network. The VPN device that is allocated on the on-premise side is going to undergo a change in its public IP address. You have to ensure the site-to-site VPN connection continues to work after the change. Which of the following steps would you need to carry out after the change in the public IP address on the on-premise VPN device, ensuring minimum connection downtime? Choose three answers from the option given below. And the options are A. Remove the VPN connection. B. Stop the VPN connection. C. Modify the local gateway IP address. D. Modify the VPN gateway address. E. Recreate the VPN connection. And F. Start the VPN connection. So the correct answer is BCF, that is stop the VPN connection. So this will temporarily disconnect the VPN connection while you make the necessary changes. Now C, that is modify the local gateway IP address. This will update the IP address of the on-premise VPN device in the Azure configuration. And F, start the VPN connection. After updating the IP address, you can restart the VPN connection to reestablish the connection with the new IP address. Now the other options are not necessary or would cause unnecessary downtime, like A. Remove the VPN connection. This would require recreating the entire connection, which would take longer and could lead to disruption. And D, that is modify the VPN gateway address. This is incorrect as you only need to change the IP address of the on-premise VPN device. And E, recreate the VPN connection. This would also take longer and could lead to disruption. Question number 102. A company has set up an Azure subscription. They have set up a storage account and are currently using the blob service. They want to assign permission to three user groups. Group A, this group should have the ability to manage the storage account. Group B, this group should be able to manage containers within a storage account. Group C, this group should be given full access to Azure storage blob containers and data, including assigning POSIX access control. You need to assign the relevant role-based access control, ensuring the privilege of least access. Which of the following would you assign to group A? And the options are A. Owner, B. Contributor, C. Storage account contributor, D. Storage blob data contributor, and E. Storage blob data owner. So for the group A, it is given that this group should have the ability to manage the storage account. So the correct answer is C, storage account contributor. Now option A and B are incorrect since this would provide more permission than the required, and option D and E are incorrect as these roles don't have the required permission. Question number 103. So this is the same scenario and question is for the group C, where group C is given that this group should be given full access to Azure storage blob containers and data, including assigning POSIX access control. So for this the correct answer is storage blob data owner. Question number 104. A company is planning on using the Azure import or export service to move data out of their Azure storage account. Which of the following service could be used when defining the Azure export job? And the options are A. Blob storage, B. File storage, C. Queue storage, and D. Table storage. So the correct answer is blob storage, as only the blob service is supported with the export job feature. So correct answer is blob storage. Question number 105. You have an Azure subscriptions named TechCert Lab Staging. Under the subscription, you go ahead and create a resource group named TechCert Labs-RG. You then go ahead and create an Azure policy based on the not allowed resource types definition. Here you define the parameters as Microsoft.network.virtual networks as the not allowed resource types. You assign this policy to the tenant root groups. Would you be able to create a virtual machines in the TechCert Lab-RG resource group? So basically here you have created an Azure policy that is not allowed resource types, and the parameter is Microsoft.network.virtual networks. That means you are not allowed to create virtual networks. And in the question it is asking whether would you be able to create a virtual machines in the TechCert Lab-RG resource group, and so the correct answer is no, because the policy is applied at the tenant root group. It would be applied to all subscription and resource group. And since virtual networks are not allowed for the creation of virtual machines, you won't be able to create the virtual machines. For Azure resources like exam questions for PDFs and the practice sets, you can refer our official websites. I will give you the link in the comment or in the description sections. You can refer that link. Question number 106. A company currently has the following network defined in Azure. So name and address space is given. We have TechCert Lab VNet 1 and TechCert Lab VNet 2, VNet 3, and their address space is given. All virtual networks are hosting virtual machines with varying workloads. A virtual machine named TechCert Lab-Detect hosted in TechCert Lab-VNet 2. These virtual machines will have an intrusion detection software installed on it. All traffic on all virtual networks need to be routed via these virtual machines. You need to complete the required steps for implementing this requirement. Which of the following would you need to create additional to ensure traffic is sent via the virtual machine hosting the intrusion software? And the options are a new route table, B, add an address space, C, add DNS server, D, add a service endpoint. So the correct answer is a new route table. So in order to ensure that traffic is routed via the intrusion based device, you need to set up a route table and add the route table to the subnets in the other virtual networks. Question number 107. A company is planning on using Azure for various services they offer. They want to ensure that they can bill each department for the resources they consume. They decide to use Azure policies to separate the bills department wise. Would this fulfill the requirement? And the options are yes or no. So basically, Azure policies are used from a government's perspective and can't be used to create bills department wise. So the answer is no. Question number 108. A company is planning on using Azure for the various services they offer. They want to ensure that they can bill each department for the resources they consume. They decide to use Azure resource tags to separate the bills department wise. Or this fulfill the requirement? So the answer is yes. You can use resource tags to organize your Azure resources and also apply billing techniques department wise. Question number 109. So this is also the same question, but here the recommendation is that they decide to use Azure role based access control to separate the bill department wise. So for this also the correct answer is no, as this is used to control access to resources and cannot be used for billing purposes. Question number 110. A company has the following resources deployed to their Azure subscription. The virtual machine TechCert Lab VM is currently in the running state. The company now assigns the below Azure policy. The not allowed resource types are Microsoft network slash virtual networks, Microsoft slash compute slash virtual machines. Would an administrator be able to move the virtual machine to another resource group named TechCert Lab staging? So here TechCert Lab VM is already created and the not allowed resources types are virtual networks and virtual machines. So the question it is asking whether an administrator be able to move the virtual machines to another resource group named TechCert Lab staging or not. So since the policy is only applied to the resource group TechCert Lab-RG and not TechCert Lab-staging, you can move the virtual machine to that resource group.